What's up with the MIP family? It's your boy LAPA coming through with another video, some content, as you know. And as you can tell by the good old uña, that catch, and that thumbnail for the YGs and the reoffenders. Homie got caught slipping and you know, he got what he deserved. Unfortunately, you know, it's not something that I glorify. Really, I'm telling the story for the lessons behind it and what the neighborhood brings, you know. So, you know, I'm gonna take you back to around the time where I was before I did my turn, man, when I was on the run for my case. I was on the run, man. For those of you that are a little familiar with my story, I was on the run for about 8 months, running from the U.S. Marshals. You know, when I caught my shootings, I haven't even told the story of how I caught my case, and it's honestly, this is not me being egotistical or arrogant, but my story is worthy of a fucking movie. You know, excuse my French, but it's worthy of a movie, and it's a trip, man. You know, I got shot up in my chest, ran from the hospital with handcuffs, all kinds of stuff. So, but that's neither here nor there. I had already ran from there, and I hit the streets with a collapsed lung, or I mean, partially collapsed lung by the time I left, because they were actually draining my lung and inflating it. And right before I left the hospital, right before they're gonna pull out the chest tube. So what I did, I just pulled out the chest tube the night before and I took off. My point is, I was rocking around the streets of my hood. First thing I did was get a strap. The second thing I did was get some fucking painkillers, some fucking heroin. That's what I did, because the morphine in the hospital got me turned on again, and I was in terrible pain. I was in terrible pain in my chest. My body was weak. I was sore. I felt like a freaking truck hit me in my chest, and rightfully so, because a projectile went through my chest, you know. So yeah, and while I was running around the neighborhood, man, obviously I knew that the marshals were looking for me. I didn't know to what degree, but I kept seeing the same F-150s, the same Mustangs and everything. And it turned out that it was them running around, looking around the Logan area, looking for me, the suspect. And so I would duck and cover through apartments, stairs, alleys, things like that. And not only that, I had to watch out for the gang unit too, you know? So it was definitely a hectic time, man. I got away in a lot of foot pursuits, one of which I've told the story, or a cop knocked himself out. I'll tell the story again. I went on a few car pursuits, actually 3 of them, short ones over there by Lopers. I jumped out the car and, you know, I ran somewhere. I knew I had somewhere to run. But anyway, those are stories for a different time. So on any given day, man, I would be walking down the alley, whatnot, and I told the story on my channel about the homie that I took a 16 gauge from him. You know, me and the homie took a 16 gauge from him, right? This was the same homie that came up to me that day. But before I say that, I was walking down the alley one time early in the morning, man. That was my time to go come up, to go do what I needed to do. And I'm walking around the neighborhood, man. It's maybe 5:30 in the morning, right before the full sunlight came out. So you could see the sun coming out. It was a little light, but it was still a little dark. And I'm walking down the neighborhood and I see a big old Lopers, L-O-P-E-R-S, on the garage. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh hell no. So the first thing I did, man, and I have a big passion, or at least I had a big passion for that type of shit. I would be the first one. The longer that plaque stayed on the wall, the longer it would bother me. So I would run I literally went to the discount store, waited for them to open at 7. An hour and a half I was out there waiting to get a spray can and vámonos, because everybody was asleep, man. And at the time, the homie that used to have the spray cans and all the Humble Dogger and shit passed away. He used to have some in his backyard and shit like that. So, you know, he was no longer there. And well, I'm gonna pause it there, and I'm gonna tell you another thing. One day I was walking down the same freaking alley the other way, down to Spurgeon. I got to Spurgeon on that alley right there by Washington. And there was about 3 or 4 dudes right there. And they were talking about a bike, you know? And they were talking about, like, hey, bro, when you gonna give me my bike back? This, and that. Oh, they stole it. Memo was, they let him borrow that bike. And me being the person that I am at the time, I was sick, I needed to come up. I was a bully sometimes. I didn't give a fuck. But I was only a bully to fools that I didn't like, you know. And I just kind of found Memo's story fishy, you know. I just felt like he just wanted to burn old boy for the bike, and he didn't want to give it back to him. So I was like, and this was, I think it was a home with Casper, rest in peace. It was his bike. And me being who I am, like I said, if there's somebody from the hood involved, or even in my hood, he didn't even have to be from my hood, but the fact that he was from my hood, that gave me jurisdiction, you know. But I would have gave myself jurisdiction no matter what, unfortunately. So what I did was like, all right, cool, look, you lost his bike, they stole it, it's all good, you're still liable for that bike. Give the homie $20 and we'll call it even. And the homie's like, no, I'll try to look for it. And I'm like, no, homie, give him fucking $20, dog. And I needed those $20 to go get well, and then go come up more. And you know, it's the gutter. It's the gutter, man. You know, I've been in the lowest and I've been in the highest, and it is what it is. You know, I'm brutally honest about my past. And so he gave him $20. And as soon as he gave him $20, I told the homie, like, hey, fool, leave me borrow this $20 before I give him back to you. And I took off. I took off. So, excuse me, guys. So I took off, you know, went to do whatever I did, and that was that. So, fast forward to when I seen the plackings. I go back with the spray can, cross that shit out, and the homie that was in the balcony told me, hey, bro, I seen Memo bring the lopers over here to plaque, homie. He brought him in his truck. I seen him. The homie's balcony had an overview of the alley perfectly. All he had to do was look over his balcony, and he could see the alley and see them dudes doing their thing. Now, Memo didn't know that that he had been seen, you know. He was pissed, obviously, that I fucking jacked him for 20 bucks, when in reality, he paid $20 for a fucking, I think it was a GT mountain bike. A GT mountain bike, that shit's over $100 easily. So if anything, he came up, but I didn't know the full extent. You know, I was like, you know what? It's your bad. They stole the bike from you. You're responsible for it. $20, you got off easy. So at this point, I was like, all right, cool. And I know where Memo lives. I used to go to school with him. We used to go to I think we used to go to elementary together, but we definitely went to junior high together. So I knew where he lived, but I wasn't gonna go to his pad and you know, whatever. I was like, you know, I knew he was gonna come around eventually, and that's that. Especially because he didn't know that they seen him. So I told the homie, I told the other L, I told him, hey, don't tell this fool shit, homie. If you tell him, dog, I'm gonna know, you know, and it's your ass. So sure enough, man, maybe about a week, 2 weeks later, I'm not sure how, it was a couple of weeks or a week. It was at least days. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. It was a hectic fucking 8 months. We were in that alley with this dude, Joe. He had this fucking, for those of you that remember, I know some of you guys will probably remember this, when Joe lived there, some of the homies, because some of my homies watch the channel. He had that fucking, that Tahoe, that blue Tahoe with rims. And the homies, all homies used to think he was from Alley Boys and shit. He used to get hit up all the time because there was a rumor going around that he was from Alley Boys. But the homie wasn't from Alley Boys, man. He was just a resident. He knew a bunch of people, but he wasn't from Alley Boys. But anywho, he was moving out from that garage, you know, from that pad. We had a lead. We used to kick in his garage. He was moving out. So I had to pull out 2 big ass fucking black trash bags of clothes, Levi's, brand new clothes, my clothes, and on to the next spot, you know. And we're in the alley. My homie Weasel's actually there with this girl, one that he ended up catching a case for. So he was there, she was there, and I was right there. I had just finished pulling out the bag, put it in the alley, boom. But the trash can was kind of hot. I was like, fuck, man. And then I looked to the end of the alley because I seen a car pull up, and lo and behold, it was Memo with his truck. And matter of fact, homeboy that fucking he was with actually tapped into my channel before. I don't know if you'll leave a message on the same homeboy that tapped in during my live, talking about when my homegirl passed away. He's the same one that was with them in that car. I don't want to say his name. You know, out of respect for them. But he was in the car with him, right? And this is how I knew, because at the time he was trying to be from the neighborhood, shit like that, or at least, you know, he knew a lot of the homies, he was related, things like that. So that automatically told me that this fool did not know anything. And then he pulled up where I was at. So me being the man that I am, even they call me loony, I'm just a hothead, and automatically I dropped the bag that I had. I fucking and I start walking towards him, the driver's side, and my humble Weasel was like, "What's up? What's going on?" And I didn't say nothing. And I used to do this shit a lot, unfortunately. I just go like a torpedo and just straight to my fucking mission. And once the homie see me do something, follow suit. Homie, I ain't gotta tell you nothing, you know. So I walk up to the truck, and this is where I fucked up. I didn't let this dude turn off the truck. He hadn't turned off his truck yet. That's where I fucked up. And as soon as I walk up to the driver's side, I grab him and start hitting him. Boom, 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 boom. Start rocking him. And unfortunately, this fool puts it on drive and speeds off. And I love my homeboys, man, especially the ones that in my generation. The homie didn't even hesitate. Jump in, jump in, jump in to his girl's car, and boom, we followed him. We're chasing him down. We went all the way down Spurgeon everywhere looking for him. And then we finally chased him towards the entrance of the freeway, the 5 freeway. And I told him, never mind, fool. That's it. Don't trip. Let's go. Because I was on the run for those shootings, and the last thing I want to do is attract attention from a cop and get pulled over. Because for me, ain't no fucking second chances. Once I get caught, that's a wrap. That's life. You know? So, you know, the blood started fucking calming down, and that was that. I told him, now he ain't gonna come around. It is what it is. I got him, and it is what it is. So, fast forward. That was it. That was a dead issue. It was it. Fast forward maybe about, who was with us that night? I think Casper was with me. Rest in peace. Me, another homie. Even there was a homie I think that was with us that wasn't even from a neighborhood. I can't remember his name. Oh, Joe was with us. And we were gonna go come up, you know. And what I used to do is locate cars with big ass systems, and later on I would come in and strip the whole fucking thing. You know, hey, it was a hustle, and I had a chop shop and everything. Sometimes I would take the whole car. Sometimes it was what it was. So, you know, gone in 60 seconds. Well, I was known as gone in 30 seconds. But anywho, so we're in Anaheim, man, doing our day, whatnot, and we were down the street from the homies pad in Anaheim that's related to my homeboy T. I'm not gonna say his full name. And after we finished fucking doing our rounds in that apartment, we came all the way to his house, you know, just to chill, just to see what's up, you know. And out of all fucking people I see there, it's fucking Memo. And he was right there kicking it with one of the homies. It was his pad. And I see him and I tell him, hey, come outside, homie, come outside. And obviously I'm with my homeboy and another dude. And this fool doesn't want to come outside because he knows what's gonna go on. And the homie's house, the homies whose house it was like, what's going on, homie? What's going on? Hey, kick back, homie, what's going on? Talk to me. And I told him, hey, dog, this, and I told him everything that he did. And I told him about the bike and this and that. And I'm like, this fool got his bike stolen, and then this fool did this because he over $20 brought this dude to the neighborhood. And when he heard that part, he was like, wait, what bike? What bike is he talking about? Like, I don't know, homie, some bike and shit. He said they stole it and shit. He's like, this motherfucker just sold me a bike. And then sure enough, the bike was hanging on some hooks in that same garage. We look up and we look at the bike, and it was a GT mountain bike. And this fool looks at Memo and I look at him. I'm like, are you fucking serious, homie? You're the one he sold it to? He said that they stole it, but this motherfucker, I knew it. Burned my homeboy. And when the homie heard that, he was like, take this motherfucker outside. Take his ass outside. Boom, we grabbed him. We dragged that motherfucker all the way into the front of the house and beat the dog shit out of him. You know, he's lucky that I fucking knew him from school and he wasn't a fucking gang member, bro. He's fucking lucky that I didn't take his life that night, because he had done more than enough, you know. And I'm not proud of this, guys, and I'm not fucking glorifying this or nothing. I was a different person, but I'm certain my homeboys know, bro. Especially for what I was on the run for. This fool's lucky that he didn't get killed that night for burning the homie, lying to us, and out of all the things, bringing our enemies to the hood to plaque. This fool did so many violations that one of those could have got him killed, you know. but I knew him, and I was just, after we beat the shit out of him, took his shoes, took everything, we left him on the streets. And we took him like 3 houses down, just in case, so we wouldn't beat the shit in front of the homie's house. We left him on the streets, dog laid out. And that was that, you know. And I wanted to tell this story because, you know, another day in the hood, grimy motherfuckers, man. Everybody could get grimy, you know. How motherfuckers lie, you know, how they'll manipulate other individuals to come get you killed. Just like a girl setting you up, this fool brought individuals to the alley. You know, I could have been in that alley, you know, and I could have got into it with them fools and they could have smoked me, or I would have smoked them and we would have smoked each other. Who knows? You know, that's some messed up stuff. But it is what it is, man. You know, the lesson of this, of course, youngsters, you know, no matter how with the business you are, there's always consequences to your actions, man. You know, I think both of them passed away, if I'm not mistaken. I think somebody told me that Memo passed away, but I'm not sure. Casper passed away, unfortunately. It's been a long time. You know, Joe, who only God knows where he's at. He ended up having a baby from some girl that I was into. We were into each other, and I got locked up. Too bad. And then, but he stayed out, and you know, he was able to pump a baby in her. It is what it is. All disrespect to the woman. But that's the lesson behind it, man. Don't do this type of shit, man. It'll get you in prison. It'll get you locked up. My humble Weez is doing life, and you know, everybody's gone. You know, so let this serve as an example to stay out. You know, and to not put your life at risk like that. Because out of all the people that were supposed to get life, I am one of the few, if not the only, that didn't get life. And that's just a blessing in and of itself. You know, that being said, APA, I'm out. Appreciate you guys, man. If you guys like this video, man, the lesson behind it, the content, the righteousness, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, man. It's free. Appreciate you guys, man. Leave a comment if you want. Share this video, man. It's a good lesson for everybody. And I mean, you know, I'm out. You guys already know. One life saved is one life blessed. A smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. You guys be good.